What the hell is that?
He's found it, hasn't he? What he was looking for.
You found doorways through time.
Big shiny hole in the universe.
Hello everyone and welcome to another video by Centipede Geek. Today I'm going to discuss my thoughts and opinions upon the sci-fi original television series with the name of Primeval New World. I'm going to talk about episode 5 titled Undone. And without any further ado, let's go and get to it, shall we? As always, you know, the premise and concept for this series is dinosaurs traveling from the past into the present or future time as they know it and wreaking havoc on the world, and then our dinosaur crew of investigators has to send them back to the past. That way, our time won't be changed as we know it. Well, that's pretty much the main thing going on in this episode once again, as we have two prehistoric dogs have traveled from the past into the future, and once again our crew of dinosaur investigators has to send these two prehistoric dogs back from the future into the past. That way time won't be changed as we know it. There are also a few subplots going on in this episode, as major spoilers coming up, just so you guys know. There are also a few subplots going on, such as we have one of our main characters, a supporting character, by the way, his girlfriend has recently been introduced into the series, and she actually, plays a big role in this episode. He tells her not to get involved. She wants to get involved. She wants to be involved in his work. Well, our main character, Evan, ends up hiring her, not knowing, the event that's going to take place. Like I said, major spoilers coming up, so if you don't like spoilers, go ahead and click pause. Otherwise, keep watching, right? So her character ends up dying in this episode by one of those prehistoric dogs that traveled from the past into the future, because what happens is the anomaly opens up and it ends up closing. Before it closes, two dogs travel through and it closes. So now his girlfriend ends up dying. He goes to drastic situations to get revenge on the prehistoric dogs that killed his girlfriend, and now he decides he has to kill them. Little does he know, that our Evan has a theory, actually, that if you kill something from the past, it could change, make a time paradox and change, change everything. We could, events may not happen in the same way if you don't send these creatures back to the past. And in this episode, both those prehistoric dogs actually end up dying, which leads me to think that time and major events might start changing in the series because of those two prehistoric dogs dying, because they weren't actually able to send them back because the anomaly, being the, if you've been watching it, the magnetic force field that opens up, and that's how they actually travel from the past and the future. They weren't able to send them back, so we have that going on. Anyways, like I said, his girlfriend dies, and that's pretty much the main subplot going on, is, him having to deal with another main character dying, and all this blood is starting to be on his hands, and that actually made this a very good episode and a very dramatic episode in general. That's pretty much the main plots for episode 5, titled Undone, for the sci-fi original television series with the name of Primeval New World. Generally, Primeval New World, not including a few episodes, is sort of a mixed bag for me. There are some episodes that are really good, and then there are some episodes that are overall just decent. Some episodes have that nice, dramatic, intense element, and then other episodes are just all about the dinosaurs killing people and all about just sending them back with no drama, no sympathy towards its characters. Well, I have to say episode 5, titled Undone, for the sci-fi series known as Primeval New World, had lots of dramatic sequences that made up for the series as a whole. I'm really hoping that episodes in the future for this series are going to be like this episode. This episode actually, gave lots of sympathy towards its characters. Not only did it give sympathies towards its characters, but it actually cared for its characters, and they weren't just like a side note, because normally, in all honesty, I've been watching this series to see the dinosaurs kill people, but in this episode, I was actually grown to care for the characters. I wasn't crying or anything like that, but I was actually able to care for them in somewhat, not of a huge way, but somewhat of a decent and a minor way, where it actually led me to want to watch the rest of the series, because previously, Primeval New World has been a decent series, but the only really redeeming thing about it was its overall concept and premise. A very interesting premise, but overall, the characters were uninteresting. Episode 5 actually made the characters, you feel sympathy for them, and it brought, a very, dramatic sequences to this episode. Not only do we have the drama of the actual dinosaurs, prehistoric dogs, coming to, Earth, but we also, from past to the present, not only do we have the drama of the dinosaurs, but we also have the drama of this man losing, the love of his life, his girlfriend, and now he wants to seek vengeance on them. And then we have our main character once again. They have to decide whether or not to send these things back, and at the end, drastic situations, drastic circumstances call for, drastic decisions, and they end up having to actually kill both of the prehistoric dogs. He didn't want this to happen because he wants to send them back, and that's just not in his nature to do so. So they end up having to kill both of them, and now because of this, it seems that time and certain events on Earth might not take place because of, not sending the dinosaurs back to where they needed to go. So the best things about this episode, besides the overall concept, of course the concept is always redeemable. The concept is why I keep watching. But the reason I like this episode a lot was the drama that actually took place in the episode. I love the drama. I loved the scenes when he was crying. I loved the whole concept of him trying to get revenge, because of losing his loved one. I liked how this episode actually focused on character development, so it made it a very redeeming episode. And I'm hoping the episodes in the future don't go back to, the same old, killing dinosaurs and stuff. I kind of liked how this one focused on other things. So overall, it was a very nice, and I guess you could say a nice pattern, and overall very structured episode that cared about its characters while still having that great concept overall. I'm really hoping that they play up on the underlining theme of the show. You know how that guy kept the ostrich bird? That means that things are going to start changing. And now that two dinosaurs, two prehistoric dogs have died, not sent back, more things are going to start changing. So the underlining theme is becoming a lot bigger. Summer overall, I'm starting to enjoy the series quite a bit. But it has taken a few episodes to get me into the series. Not always a bad thing though. Sometimes it takes longer for series than others. Sometimes you can't always get into a series by the pilot episode. Sometimes it takes 5 or 6, and I guess Primeval New World is an example of that. This is my review for the sci-fi series known as Primeval New World for episode 5 titled Undone. Next week's episode, as always, it comes on the Sci-Fi Channel every Saturday night, not right after Sinbad, 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock for everyone else. Next week's episode is episode 6 titled Cleanup on Aisle 3. Once again, thanks for watching another video by Centipede Geek. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to my page below, and I'll see you guys later with more videos by Centipede Geek.